Oh, President's Day, Meghan, and a disappointing show. We didn't even get to talk about the most recent former president's acquittal in his second impeachment trial that happened over the weekend because today's show was pre recorded. And I can't even tell from when because you had the Madonna pony, but that wasn't even last week. So you must have had a time for a restyle between the live show and whenever you taped this last week, unless it was recorded 2 weeks ago. Who knows in your fancy world of TV how you do all that magic? Anyway, so we didn't talk about the impeachment or Lindsey Graham being a complete dickhead saying if the House wins or if the GOP wins the House, they're going to impeach um, Vice President Harris, and that because Burr from North Carolina voted to convict the president, that Laura Trump is going to run for his seat in North Carolina. Um, or we didn't get to talk about Mitch McConnell's unbelievably hypocritical speech after the trial was over, saying he's clearly guilty, but we didn't vote that way. And what this acquittal means for the future of your party, since there were 43 feckless cunts who decided to acquit the president of a crime he was clearly guilty of, because they didn't have the trial while he was in office, and they didn't have the trial while he was in office because the leader of the party wouldn't allow the trial to happen while he was in office. Anyway, so we didn't get to talk about any of that. And even when they had that nice little clip of President Biden and all the many times he's come to visit all the ladies of the View, and it was nice to sort of see that, the revolving door of women on the panel through his years of visiting. And then after it was over, Joy said something nice, and people were chiming in about something nice about President Biden. And you, who have a very long relationship with, on a personal level, didn't get to say anything. You tried to say something at the tail end of all of that, but you were muted. The producers, I haven't seen anyone else try to say something but be on mute. And I think that I've seen that happen to you at least twice now. And it was late. I mean, you sort of sat back, and I guess maybe you were trying to get the last word in, as a brat is wont to do, but you were denied. And then, not much of a show. We had that QAnon mom to listen to, and you didn't even really ask her a question. You just told her she was brave for coming on, which, no shit, because she seemed a little bit of a dum-dum. And I mean, she just fell into QAnon. It wasn't even like she had said at the beginning she was a lifelong Republican because her family was Republican and she never paid attention to politics. She just voted red because she wanted to be like her family. That's ignorant. And then, and then she just sort of fell into these QAnon conspiracies after watching a bunch of pro-Trump stuff on TikTok. And then after the inauguration, she just just as easily fell out of the QAnon stuff because Biden was inaugurated, and that her mother told her that was God's will. So she seems kind of, easily manipulated. Maybe, and that could also be, I don't know, the strength of our education system, not teaching people critical thought. So she seems to be able to just sort of go along with whatever is told to her. Wasn't a very compelling story. And you didn't even ask her a question. So I guess maybe you don't really want to be associated with any of the QAnon stuff because you're so concerned that the party that you have loved your whole life, which we all know is a lie, because you weren't even a registered Republican until you were 24. Yeah, that party's just giving it all up to QAnon and white supremacists and Confederates. So that's fun. So maybe we'll get to talk about some of that stuff tomorrow. You know, the good political stuff and the ramifications for your party of Q. We miss it when you're not live, Megan. We miss you when you're not live.